YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Gonna bring you some replays, and I want to show you all a lot of Wood Elves footage. I actually haven't gotten to play the Wood Elves a lot. Whenever I go online, it like defaults to the Wood Elves, and I sit there for a minute, kind of hoping my opponent will pick something different, because I hate mirror matchups. I really don't like them. And then my opponents usually never move off of the Elves, so I pick something else, and then they pick something else because I pick something else, and it's just like, I kind of hate how you don't pick a faction before you go into the game. I really wish that was the case. I think it'd be way more fun to play online if you just pick a faction, then hit find a match, and you find the match, and there's not all the crazy faction switching. Now that said, I had a good game with the viewer here, and I wanted to show that to you. Now I don't think he was trying to play games with me or something. And this is just, I'm describing this across multiple battles, not necessarily right here. So I played against Pippington, and we're going to see how this turned out. He picked the vampires, and I went with the dwarfs. I was going to try a gyrocopter build here. I hadn't used the gyrocopters in a while. I felt like if the vampires brought air, I could just lure them back within the range of my thunders and get a pretty good trade there. But I brought the gyrocopters because the vampires don't have any missiles, and about the worst thing they can do is bring fell bats or air. And like I said, if I lure them within range of armor-piercing missiles, I was going to be feeling pretty good. Right off the bat, I thought he had Blood Knights here, and I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good investment. But it was just Black Knights and Varix Reavers, which Varix Reavers is definitely worth killing with the gyrocopters. It basically give you a square trade if you used up all your ammo, which you'll use most of it. But considering the dwarfs don't have a great counter to cavalry, it's not a bad idea. Brimstone guns will do okay. My front line is Longbeards. I don't have the armor-piercing variety. Come to think of it, though, I probably should have used the armor-piercing variety, because the vampires are going to come mostly, if they bring infantry, it's going to be armored infantry. But I brought Longbeards because they would have, yeah, I mean, and then the shields here are pointless versus the vampires because they don't have any missiles. So yeah, that was probably a mispick on my part. I've got the Grumbling Guard. I'm rocking Grombrindle the White Dwarf here, a Runesmith, Dragonback Slayer, 2 Miners, and 2 Thunderers. And you can see my gyrocopters right now already giving some pretty big fits to his Varix Reavers. I'm not really concerned about the Black Knight. I just leave it alone. I don't really feel like it's worth wasting ammunition on. And the White Kings aren't really worth... Well, I mean, actually the White Kings could be worth wasting ammunition on if I could do enough damage to them, which I'm not sure if I could or not. Probably could, because they don't have healing potions anymore. And I guess that could have potentially been a nice use too, because White King is a pretty capable melee hero. And honestly, the Varix Reavers might have been easier to kill. So that's a good question. I'll have to go try the gyrocopters versus the White Kings and see if that would have been a smarter target. But yeah, my opponent has to approach me because the vampires don't have any range. And I've got a nice position back here again, knowing that the vampires have nothing to force me off the position per se. That's why I've taken it, and I'm going to play it. So here I just continue harassing his Varix Reavers. And my idea is I'm going to shoot these guys to death and then bomb his infantry. With my gyrocopters, I get 2 rounds of bombs with the gyrocopters that can be pretty devastating. Now, I really... Like, one of the things I just really need to focus on is micromanaging battles. I get too distracted by, like, little things sometimes in battles. And it's something I'm going to try and practice over the next few nights. We'll see if I get any better at it. But the biggest things, like, and I want to slow this down and kind of talk through it. The biggest things that are happening right now that are going to be important is scouting. So one thing I fail to do a lot of times is to scout properly. Now my opponent has 2 Cairn Race. This is a pretty good pick because these guys are fast and they're good at getting around the sides of lines and getting at skirmishers and being pretty effective against them. You need to scout the enemy lord. In this battle, I did not do so. And if you take a look at Vlad, what does he have stacked up his sleeve here? He's got Wind of Death, which I think actually took a nerf in the patch if I heard Ninja Hun right. Raise the Dead is very different now. You can raise up to 7 zombies at only a cost of 2 mana, which is just, I mean, it's minuscule. And I think that you can do skeletons still too for a little bit more than that. So Raise the Dead is very, very potent now at disrupting skirmishers, and you have to be very respectful of it, and he's got Invocation in the heck. So I need to keep an eye on Vlad and where he goes. The corpse card's a concern, so I start peppering it with my my thunders, because I know I can do a considerable amount of damage to it. The thing is with a corpse card is it heals very quickly. It heals very, very quickly. And I can do solid damage to it, but I have to continue to focus fire on it or else it will heal. But it's also going to be giving some very nice buffs to these Graveguard with great weapons. You'll notice that Vlad here is heading, so this is a trigger right here. Vlad is heading towards the side of my line. So I should have already seen this and started running Grombrindle out here to fight him, and then I should have charged my line forward, because then that would have dispositioned, like, taken my guys out of a nice line position right here. I went ahead and took his charge because my Longbeards take the charge well, but this is very obvious what he's doing. And let's see how effective it is. Let's see if Wind of Death has gotten nerfed at all. Not a lot. It still did extreme damage to these two guys. Fortunately for me, it veered a little bit off course here. But he basically just wrecked two of my Longbeards there. That was easily avoidable. It was completely my own fault. Now, Grombrindle, I have to bring him out here to fight Vlad. And I know he's stronger than Vlad, but Vlad's getting the benefit of having all these Cairn Wraiths and zombies and everything else that he can bring in. You can see he's doing more zombies out here. He can start spawning zombies galore. So head-to-head, Grombrindle's going to do very well versus Vlad. I'm going to go ahead and smoke bomb, and that's going to hold him in place here, and it's going to pull down the leadership and the melee defense of everything around him. And I'm going to go ahead and pop some of his special abilities, and we're going to really start laying into Vlad. But the rest of the battle over here is going poorly for me because I let my Longbeards get hit by a very obvious Wind of Death. Very obvious. Very obvious. And then my bombing run here with my gyrocopters is way, way late. I'm very slow in reacting, so I get my bombers up and or my copters up, and by the time I get ready to drop the bombs, again, I should have taken a little time to line up a little better with this outside one. So I drop the bombs, and I'm definitely going to get some kills here. It's going to do some damage on the Graveguard with Great Weapon, which is important, but it's late because my line's already been broken. And then Grombrindle, because of the help of the Cairn Wraiths, is in a very, very tight fight here against Vlad. Vlad heals very quickly, and I didn't have any units out here to support. Now the White King has made it over here. I definitely could have beaten Vlad had the White King not shown up. Now it's very questionable. You can see Vlad is hanging on, just barely hanging on. He is taking an absolute savaging from Vlad, but with the help of the White King, I'm pretty sure that Grombrindle's going to fall here. So this is very, very close. Very close. But Vlad's healing is going to carry the day for him here. So, a couple of key things to remember here, and I'm definitely going to lose if I lose Grombrindle and Vlad survives. Vlad was 100 hit points from death there, so it was very close, and then Grombrindle bites it. So, tough situation for me there. So I did fairly well. I rid myself of his cavalry fairly well. All I had to do was avoid the Wind of Death at the beginning, and then do a better job of engaging Grombrindle. And this battle could have easily swayed in my favor, because Grombrindle, as you can see, definitely had the capability to kill Vlad. And the corpse cart did not quite get killed either, and that's a big deal. So bombers on time, just move my troops forward a little bit or backwards. Move them forward or backward, and you avoid the Wind of Death. It's an easily avoidable spell. You just have to pay attention, which I did not, so I deserved to get creamed by it. And then I could have done that. And I was a little bit late on using some of the stuff in my Runesmith. So I think the key here for me as I continue to play some of these battles is just focus in on some of the things I need to practice. Take an army in, know what the strategy is, know what the plan is, stick to it, don't get distracted by little things, play the strengths that you bring to the battlefield, and kind of keep the mistakes to a minimum. Now, I am going to lose this one. I can't get rid of the White Kings, and then I've lost too much of my infantry at this point. A lot of the vampire infantry is in pretty dire condition, but because of the presence of the White King and Vlad, I'm in trouble. There's not much I can do about it. So, my units that didn't get hit by the Wind of Death did just fine. Look at this, 181 kills here between all the zombies and other junk that he threw in. So, my units were fairly survivable. It's just I didn't have all the right stuff here to get the job done because of the way I played my cards here. Play a little bit better, should have been potential victory for me, but kudos to Pippington for playing his cards right here, getting the Wind of Death done, doing the things that he needed to do. Appreciate the nice things that he said about my channel, and I'm glad he enjoys the videos. I like making these for you, but I'm not done for tonight. That's right, it's a 2-for-1 special. I'm not just going to bring you my blunders here. I'm going to bring you another replay. Oh, well, crap, I quit out a little bit early. I should have fast-forwarded to the end so you could have seen the stats. But, yeah, it was pretty clear what was happening there. But, yeah, congrats to Pippington. Well played there, buddy. Glad you enjoy the channels and the videos. Thanks for watching. Let's jump into another one here where Vlad is going to go up against the Wood Elves. So Vlad making 2 cameos here. This is an interesting battle that a viewer sent in, and I won't tell you who wins. So I'll leave that open. You all saw that the submitter doesn't always win. And on mine right there, I don't always win either, because so those of you who complain about there not ever being a surprise, there are surprises. There are surprises. And then I love how people sometimes made the comments too that I never show my losses. That always cracks me up. So someone the last time I showed a loss was like making like a funny comment like, "Here, how come you never show your losses?" I got a kick out of it. That was good. Appreciated that. Wood Elves, 3 Treekin up front, and then they're backed up by some Eternal Guard, and then there's 3 Starfire Shaft Glade Guards, and then a sweet line of Azrai War Dancers back here. Or War Dancers with Azrai Spear, I should say. And then, of course, Durthu rocking it out with Flock of Doom, which is a fantastic spell. Flock of Doom is like the only worthwhile damage spell left in the game because CA's nerfed everything into an oblivion. Got a Necromancer right here with Wind of Death. Vlad von Karstein here as well. Let's take a look at Vlad's ability. Both the Necromancer and Vlad, I believe, have the ability to raise the dead. I don't know if they can both use that or if it's capped to 7 total for the army. Yeah, no Wind of Death for Vlad. The fight's just going to come straight to in the center. Flock of Doom being thrown down on the vampires earlier, which is a great way to pull them down. The vampires had a lot of spears, and they're working 2 Vargulfs here. Now, Vargulfs are low armor, and they're pretty vulnerable to missile fire, and they have low leadership. They're being used against the Treekin, and I highly disagree with that. They have armor piercing, and Durthu is very well armored. They should have ganged up on Durthu right here in the center. And then the vampire player could right now be using his Raise the Dead with the Necromancer. Block these guys right here. So start blocking all their guys with zombies, and it would have helped keep your Vargulf alive. But this one over here just gets absolutely chicken fried by Starfire Shafts. At least that's kind of what it looks like here. Flowing hot grease from the arrows. There comes a Wind of Death, which was kind of a waste of magic here too, based on the positioning, so not going to do a whole lot from the Necromancer. He definitely should have just been over here raising the dead all over these archers. Raise the Dead is a spectacular spell for containing enemy missiles. So Durthu continues to drop the Flock of Doom over here, and again, Durthu's sword might be one of the coolest looking weapons in the game. It's absolutely amazing. This game has some beautiful artwork in it, absolutely beautiful. Makes it a lot of fun to play. I hear some people like trashing on the multiplayer in this game sometimes, which is fine. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I mean, no one can force you to like it. But I hear a lot of people say like, the multiplayer doesn't take any skill. It's just people blobbing up. The multiplayer in this game actually takes, in my opinion, more skill than I have encountered in a Total War game in a long time. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of spells. There's a lot of different units. There's a lot of different leader abilities. Each leader can be combined with different units for different effects. There's actually a lot deeper layer of strategy in this game than there has been in probably the last 2 or 3 Total War releases. I think back to like Napoleon Total War and Empire. Those games actually had some pretty deep strategy and some very you needed very inept micromanagement to do well. On this one, I mean, micro definitely plays a difference, but in this game, it's almost like knowing the armies and knowing all the spells and everything else is like one of the biggest skills here. Now, finally, we're seeing some zombies being raised up to slow down the archers. This is a good move and should have been done a long time ago. All these zombies are cheap. They cost very little mana. Bring up to 7 of them. It is always worth your while because they can create a big-time problem for opponents. They can make your lords slipperier and easier to get away, but again, we've still got elven archers over here not being disrupted by zombies. Definitely worthwhile to be using that to his advantage. The Necromancer instead is up here fighting some War Dancers, and he's on a horse, which means the War Dancers are going to enjoy their bonus, or he's on a Hellsteed, my bad. Not exactly a horse. It's missing a lot of skin for a horse. Now Durthu is going head-to-head with Vladdy, the Daddy von Karstein over here. And it's going all right for Durthu at the moment. He's quite healthy. I think one thing I would have liked to have seen from the elf player is probably if you're going to bring these Treekin and Durthu, I think that a good complement to them can be the Spell Singer with the Lore of Life, but he's obviously opted to go the opposite. Instead of healing his own guys, he's gone to pull hit points off of his enemies, and he's continually used the Doomflock. Now the problem is, as you overcast Doomflock, Durthu's going to take damage from a miscast, almost certainly, unless you get really, really lucky. Now here you can see the zombies containing some of the archers. Again, this should have been done long ago, but because that Necromancer right there being thrown away when he totally didn't need to, could have been more zombie summons available. Didn't need to be thrown away. going to be a very, very close battle. Again, even this Vargulf over here right now, helping to put the extra armor-piercing damage on Durthu instead of wasting his time on the tree can, could have been a big deal. Or the Vargulf getting rid of some of the archers could have also played a big role. But, you know, hey, you all have seen me play. You know I make mistakes. It's way easier to cast a battle than it is to play one, I'll tell you that. And practice makes perfect, folks. You just gotta practice, and that's one thing I honestly have probably only played like 5 battles in the last week. Right now has been a very difficult time for me to get time to play battles. Here comes another summon unit of zombies. The little lightning stuff on them looks cool. Like that's the thing that indicates that they degenerate over time. Look at Durthu, he's like, get out of here, zombies. So Durthu's about to die at the hands of Vlad, so that's why he's running away. And these zombies ran away from Durthu towards the archers. If they could have held him for a moment maybe, then Vlad might have been able to catch up to him and go for the kill, but instead Vlad is going to get hung up on Treekin. So they're going to keep him from catching Durthu, who right now is really wishing that he had a Lore of Life, like a spell singer. Now here comes a Vargulf. He's not going to be able to get away from this. Doomflock cast again. I don't remember if it was overcast. It probably wasn't. No, it was not. So, didn't do any damage to Durthu, but Durthu is in a fight for his life here against this Vargulf. Extremely close on the health bar here. If you look at these two, the Vargulf, very nice armor-piercing damage, and it's making that shown. The Vargulf doesn't have a lot of armor, but he goes down. Vlad's still just a little bit back here, so we have a very close fight on our hand. It says it's a little bit in favor of the vampires. The vampires are continuing to summon zombies, which is a nice way to just play some extra hit points, though. The vampire player, I believe, is in a bit of trouble here. Vlad is really the only unit left that can deal any kind of damage. Well, there's a Graveguard way back here. He needs that Graveguard, too. But even the Graveguard's going to do terrible versus the Treekin. The Sternsman here is crumbling. Got 67 kills. Yeah, without... Yeah, look, there's more Doomflock coming in there from Durthu, too. So this is pretty brutal. These Direwolves trying to finish off Durthu. They do cause him to rout, so a dangerous situation for Durthu here. If the Direwolves can kill him, because he's routing. And then here comes Daddy Vladdy, too. Chasing him away, but he can't catch him, so he's going to turn around and take his stanky sword back to the fight. Yeah, the Direwolves chasing, but the Direwolves are being shot by some Starfire shafts here. And it's going to rout them, and Durthu's going to turn around and come right back into the fight. So Durthu's not dead. So still very much a contest here. Vlad has a lot of Treekin to pound his way through, though, and it's going to be tough. Treekin have a lot of resistance. Let's take a look at it, actually. Treekin, so if we take a look, they've got physical resistance 20%. They are weak to fire, but there's nothing here that does the fire damage to them. So they will resist Vlad's attacks unless he does magical damage, which he does not. So because Vlad's lack of magical damage, he's going to be in trouble. This Graveguard came back up here, and it's getting chased by Eternal Guard and shot. So it's in a bad position here as well. Now Vlad is out of healing too, so that's also not a good scenario for him. And Durthu can outrun him, I think. Speed 36. No, Vlad's got the speed. But there's also archers out here. Does Daddy Vladdy have a shield? He does not. Let's see, we got some War Dancers coming up on him. And if he turns around to fight the War Dancers, these archers might get a shot at him. These guys actually still have 9 ammunition back here too. Vlad definitely does not want to just run away from these guys. He might as well just turn around and try and defeat them. And like I said, the inability to heal is going to be a bad problem for Vlad here, because normally he heals up really fast, but he's used all that up. He can heal quite a few hit points up in one game too. I'm trying to get him. Come here, Vlad. So Vlad can heal up to 2,800 hit points. You can see here that he's put some of these units, almost put them to flight. Graveguard's still chasing back here, trying to get a hold of Durthu, who only has 138 hit points. And the Graveguard, since they don't rout, they might be able to dish some damage. But they are crumbling now. There's fire coming in from the other archers, which may do the damage for the vampires here. And taking out Durthu is going to be a big blow. Yeah, I think Durthu gets killed by his own missiles right there. Quite possibly. That is a blow to the elves here. Because now it's really a matter of whether the treekin can hold their leadership intact. Vlad is going to be very difficult to break the leadership of, at least in the current situation. The Graveguard are going to go down over here, but not before they rout a unit of War Dancers. And they get hit with an Invocation of the Heck, a very timely Invocation of the Heck that's going to keep them in here just long enough to do a lot of damage to those Azrai Spear War Dancers. That was pretty sweet, actually. Nice play. No! This is going to be a stupid close battle. It's going to be a matter of whether or not Vlad can actually dish the damage to these treekin. If he had magical attacks, this would be over. Alright, so the Graveguard are finished healing now. They're not doing a whole lot to the Azrai War Dancers. Their melee defense is quite high, and the treekin are going to come in here and finish these guys off. So now Vlad has to try and finish everything. Yeah, now he's turning his back on the treekin. I'm not sure I like this, because as he disengages, the treekin are going to get free hits. It looks like Vlad's trying to come over. Yeah, I don't know why he wanted to make this charge. So, alright, let's see what happens. It's going to be close. Azrai Spears are shattering some of them. That's all going to play into the power bar here, and you can see that it's actually in favor of Vlad. So now we're just going to go into a 4-minute grind out of who can pound it out more, which is either Vlad or the treekin, and then the treekin are a pretty tanky unit. But their leadership here is kind of wavering, whereas Vlad's leadership is pretty solid. Let's see what happens. Right now they're just hammering away at each other. I wonder if Vlad's abilities... Yeah, right here, that he got that Master of Beguilement on there, taking away melee attack from the treekin, so that's a huge deal. Takes their melee attack down to 0. No other units on the battlefield. Holy crap, this is going to be close. Just going to keep fast forwarding. One of the treekin is gone, but it could come back. So 1,600 hit points for Vlad, 2,600 for these others. Let's see what happens. Vlad is doing slow but steady damage to the treekin. Same with them on him. Ooh, a rear charge from the regrouped treekin. Vlad is not crumbling, though. Power bar is pretty close to even. This is crazy. It's going to be a close one. Alright, so the leadership now very low on all units. Both treekin with low leadership. Vlad von Karstein's leadership starting to falter a little. He's down to 765 hit points. Definitely more hit points on the part of the treekin, and Vlad's surrounded, but he gets the von Karstein ring. It replenishes hit points, but it's not going to do any good because he's already replenished. So, would have been nice. Oh, one of the treekin shatters. That leaves the Vlad von Karstein here with 457 hit points against a wavering treekin, but it stabilizes. 338 for Vlad. Boy, the treekin better be lucky that his replenishment was done, or else that von Karstein ring would have done it. Or the Karstein ring. It looks like Vlad is going to go down here. Unless he can do some very timely... Gosh, this is close. 20 seconds. Look how close the treekin are. Vlad's still got 300 hit points. The treekin is their leadership that I'm more worried about. But the balance bar is in favor of the treekin, so that's going to help their leadership. Look at that. Ah, Vlad disintegrated at the last second there. Pyrrhic victory. That was quite a battle. What'd you all think of that one? That was quite a battle. You didn't know who was going to win that one till the end, did you? So, nice play by both. Enjoyed that. I mean, obviously there's mistakes. Like I said, I make mistakes too. I just pointed out because I'm casting, not because I'm perfect. So, fun replay. Enjoyed that one. Feel like there was definitely things that both players could have done to improve their odds there. I think that the Durthu with the Flock of Doom, he damaged himself quite a bit during that fight. And I almost think that maybe he would have been better off to just have the Spell Singer of Life. And the Vargulfs there, if they would have helped gang up on Durthu early, pretty sure they could have shut Durthu down if he would have stayed there long enough for them to get a hold of him. And then that could have been a big one too. Yeah, and then the Necromancer doing a better job of tying up the archers also would have played a pretty big role there. So interesting matchup, interesting turnout. Loved the replay. Appreciate Inquisitor Caster for having sent it in. And good game too. Juan Joel X or whatever it is there. So appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed today's battles. Tell me what you think in the comments. And very grateful you all show up each day. Sorry I was off a day. I had family in town. But hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. See you soon.